Astronomy has been making its appearance in the news for the past few months of 2016. Astronomers have been the ones changing how we think with the new theories and discoveries being made, like the new stars, nebulas, and black holes. With the new technology, astronomers have been able to see the heavens for the first time. For the past 10 years, we have had 8 planets. Pluto was called a planet, but the name got taken away. Ever since, life in our solar system has stayed the same. Recently, astronomers have found evidence of another Planet 9, also known as Planet X. Although there were recent discoveries with other areas in astronomy, Planet 9 is another new way of recreating how we all think of our home and what we already know. Planet 9 is a hypothetical new planet beyond Neptune and Pluto. Planet 9 could potentially be the size of the planet Neptune and take 10,000 to 20,000 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Planet 9 has about a radius of 3.7 times of that of Earth. Astronomers used planetary formation models and applied what they already knew to discover that the new planet will have a cold hydrogen and helium-rich atmosphere with an inner layer composed of ices and rocks, incorporating an iron core. Planet 9 should have an upper atmosphere temperature of negative 226 degrees Celsius, or 47 Kelvin. Planet 9 is being observed to be in the Kuiper Belt, which is just now being in the range of telescopes on Earth. At this point in the planet's orbit, it is about 200 to 300 AUs at the closest point and 600 to 1200 AUs at the furthest point from the Sun. Astronomers are fighting to be the ones to see the planet for the first time. The first astronomers to find the evidence of the planet are Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown of Caltech. Mike Brown also discovered or co-discovered the dwarf planets Eris and Sedna. Mike Brown is also the one that is now being called the Pluto Killer because he helped get rid of Pluto's name as a planet. They discovered it by using computer models to find out why there's a gravitational pull on Jupiter, tugging on Saturn's probe Cassini, orbit jumps with Uranus, and why the comets in the Kuiper Belt come towards Earth. The same evidence and reasoning that is being used to find Planet 9 has been used before to find Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and also back in ancient times to find the original 5 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter. When our galaxy was created and our solar system was forming, who knows how many planets there were in our solar system. But when the gas giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune were created, there was another planet, Planet 9. When the gas giants started their orbits around the Sun, Planet 9 got knocked out of its orbit and flew to inside the Kuiper Belt. The 9th planet got slowed down eventually by the gas that was still in the solar system when it first formed, and then suddenly got into an orbit around the Sun's gravity. This is not the first time there has been hypotheses about other planets in our solar system. 6 other objects in the Kuiper Belt have had evidence that they exist, but them lining up with Planet 9 is not a coincidence. This is not the only Planet X. The 6 other objects were also called Planet X, but the new 9th planet is being called Planet 9 until its full discovery. Planet 9 is not being called Planet X anymore because there is reasonable evidence that could lead to its full discovery. Now leaves the question, how will they find Planet 9? One of the researchers, Mike Brown of Caltech, said that the planet is actually fairly bright, and its orbit is the same way, so they should have seen it. He also said that it could be bright enough to be able to see it through a backyard telescope. The New Horizons telescope that flew past Pluto in July of 2015 hopes to give scientists new leads on Planet 9. Scott Shepard of the Carnegie Institution for Science in Washington, D.C. will help Brown and Batygin with the discovery. Shepard and Chadwick Trujillo of the Gemini Observatory in Hawaii discovered an object called 2012 VP-113. The Subaru telescope in Hawaii will help lead the discovery of the planet. The researchers will be at the telescope looking through to the point of 2,000 4,000 square degrees. A full moon covers about 0.5 degrees, so that amount is about 50 nights with the telescope. With these discoveries of other distant objects they help with proving the presence of Planet 9. Shepard has said that knowing how detectable the planet would be tough. Knowing all of the characteristics that affect brightness are the size of the object, orbit, and the composition. Of course, just seeing the planet or capturing an image will not be enough. In order to call it a planet, the astronomers will have to prove that it moves, or it has an orbit, or it will be called a star or a distant object. Shortly after the discovery was made, people started saying that Planet 9 is going to kill us all later this year, and Planet 9 could be the key to mass extinctions every millions of years, and Planet 9 is why the Mayan calendar was created. Planet 9 is not going to kill us anytime soon or never, but there are positives with the discovery of Planet 9. With the discovery, it has allowed the new technology and the new ways of thinking to discover new things in our universe. The papers by Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin have explained the possible issues with the theorized planet. One problem is that the brain is great at picking up patterns. The brains could have picked up a pattern that doesn't exist. That pattern is the 6 aligned objects inside the Kuiper belt. The brain can pick up a random pattern, but the pattern may not ever happen again. The aligning is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that may never happen again. Another issue is that they could have found an unrelated prediction with the pattern that they saw with the 6 objects. They could have seen the 6 objects but unintentionally pulled a prediction for the pattern that they saw. Mike Brown said in his paper that he hopes that there are skeptical people and astronomers thinking about ways and trying to prove alternatives, flaws, or places where they missed. He said that they could have checked their calculations with computer models and ruled out any flaws, so how could Planet 9 not exist? The calculations with the patterns that they matched every time they tested. The objects being aligned have a 99% chance of being real and less than 1% chance of being wrong. Just because the calculations match up doesn't mean that they are not wrong. Even if Planet 9 does or doesn't get discovered, astronomers have discovered something regardless of what it is. But what if Planet 9 doesn't exist, or what if they don't find it? If they can't prove the planet's existence, then the object would be called a distant object or a star, or it could be potential that maybe the object at all does not exist. But then the calculations and models have been proven to be right, so then what is it? We all might not know about Planet 9 if it exists or if it doesn't for a while, but either way, Brown and Batygin have discovered something extraordinary. Time to get more philosophical for no reason. There are other questions that are going through people's heads, like could we eventually inhabit Planet 9? Since now NASA, SpaceX, and other space agencies are working on inhabiting Mars with the upcoming Mars 1 missions, could we actually live on Planet 9? With the potential of Planet 9's atmosphere being mainly made up of hydrogen, helium, and other gases, and plus with the atmosphere temperature being negative 227 degrees Celsius because how far the planet is from the sun, it would be impossible for humans to live there. There is no oxygen on the planet for as much as we know, unless Planet 9 is like a super Earth or like an Earth X, which is very likely that's not going to happen. We can send future probes, rockets, telescopes there, but humans would essentially die. Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin have discovered something that could rewrite the textbooks, or if not, they could still discover something with the information that they have. The astronomers are not letting negative or positive feedback distract them. The mysterious Planet 9 will hopefully be fully discovered with the astronomers working together to help locate the planet. As technology improves, maybe one day we can see what the planet looks like if it does actually exist.